Hello everyone, this is Nim Golkar. How are you all doing? Welcome to Sunday Chats with Nim, and today we're going to talk about the three types of people that you need in your professional network. So before I dive into today's topic, let's just wait for a few moments so that, as usual, everyone gets the opportunity to log in and listen to this topic. A lot of people have told me that it's a topic that interests them, so I'm really excited about it. And hopefully you will gain some insights into this topic after today's session. And before I begin, I just wanted to remind everyone about the Sunday Chats competition that is currently happening. So this is the third episode of 2019, and at the end of 12 episodes, me and my team, we're going to look at who all have been participating in the Sunday Chats episodes on a regular basis. When I say participating, it's active participation, interaction in the form of posting comments or asking questions or sharing your thoughts and insights, etc. And then at the end of 12 episodes, we'll put all those names into a draw and we'll pull out one lucky winner. And that winner will win two prizes. They'll get a one-on-one 1 hour live coaching session with me, and they'll also get a copy of my second book, which is called Unlock the Real You, Strategies for Getting Ahead Personally and Professionally. So in order for you to be in that draw, my friends, please make sure that you interact with me as much as possible. Like I said a moment ago, you can do that by asking questions or sharing your thoughts and insights and viewpoints, or just putting any kind of comments on the topic that we are discussing. So let's get started, and today we're going to talk about the three types of people you need in your professional network. Now, there was this beautiful quote by Jim Rohn, which I'm sure many of you have heard, and it is one of my favorite quotes, which is, you're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. Okay, let me repeat that. You're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. Now, this is a very insightful quote which highlights the importance of surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. Personally, I'm a huge believer in who I allow into the inner circle, because I think the people that you spend a lot of time with in your personal life or your professional life, these people are going to have a huge impact and a huge influence on how you think, on how you behave, on how you communicate. They'll also have a huge impact on how you look at life, how your worldview, and the decisions you make down the track. So it's very, very important to have the right kind of people in your inner circle, because literally they can make or break us. So it's very important. And today we're going to talk about this inner circle from a professional perspective. So we're going to talk about the 3 types of people you need to have in your professional network. Okay, so hi Madhu, hi Bhavik, welcome aboard. Thank you for joining in, everyone. I know lots more people are joining in as we speak, so please continue participating, because like I said, at the end of 12 episodes of 2019, all the names will go into a draw, people who've interacted in these sessions, and you'll win a couple of prizes. First of all, before I talk about the 3 types of people you need in your professional network, I want to talk about the importance or the benefits of having a professional network. Because in my interactions with people, I've noticed that a lot of people haven't yet figured out how important it is to have a well thought out and strategic professional network. So let me highlight some of the obvious and not so obvious benefits of having a strategic network in relation to your career trajectory. The most obvious benefit of a professional network is that it will help you discover job opportunities ones that you're not even aware of, and job opportunities that are not even advertised. Because as we all know, not all jobs get advertised. And one of the best ways to find new opportunities that are coming up in your industry is by having a nurtured and well thought out strategic professional network. Another benefit is that as you progress through your career, you, my friend, you're going to require a lot of feedback and a lot of guidance to figure out whether or not, first of all, you're on the right track, and if you are, then how to continue being on the right track. And that's where your professional network will come in handy, because these are the people who will be able to give you the feedback and the guidance. They're the people who are going to be able to tell you if you need to do course correction, or if you need to diversify, or change how you're doing things, right? So that's one very important reason to have a professional network. Another reason to have a strong professional network is that it'll help you build your confidence, and it'll also help you hone your communication skills. Because as you interact with more and more people, you're going to discover the right way to put your ideas across to other people. You're going to learn the art of persuasion and the art of influence. And in doing so, you will improve your communication skills, and as a result, you will also build your self-confidence. And then lastly, if you're thinking currently of, starting a new business or taking up a new venture, having a professional network handy is a great way to bounce ideas off them, to brainstorm ideas, because you can come up with new and creative ways to collaborate. So those are the benefits so far that I've covered of having a professional network. So if you have any questions, don't forget to ask. Continue saying your highs and hellos, but like I said in my very first episode of this year, in order to be eligible to go into the draw for the competition, there needs to be a lot more than just the highs and hellos. I need some active interaction. So if you have any questions about networking, professional networking, then by all means go ahead and ask me, because like I always say, I love hearing from you all. So we've just finished covering 4 of the primary benefits of having a strategic professional network. The topic for today is 3 types of people you need in your professional network if you want to get ahead. Hi Nim, I have one question: how to get back on track with our professional network with all confidence and communication? Bhavik, great question. I think a lot of people wait until they're feeling fully confident, wait until they're feeling like they're really good at communicating before they go out and actively network. So I always encourage people to never wait for the perfect moment, because there is no such thing as a perfect moment. You've got to take the moment and then make it perfect. So one of the best ways to go about it is to look at meetups, so meetup.com. And look for industry-specific events, conferences, or seminars. And a lot of them are free, a lot of them are for nominal fees. Maybe even if you start networking once a month, just go out to these industry-related events. So you'll find them on meetup.com or Eventbrite, and just go out and start interacting with people, start asking questions. That's the best way to build your confidence, as well as to hone your communication skills. So hopefully that answers your question, Bhavik. Moving on, let's go on, and I'm going to talk about some of the common mistakes people make when they go about building their professional network. Okay, one of the biggest mistakes, and the one mistake that I see people doing all the time, it's amazing how many times people do this, is that they only get in touch with the people in their network when they need something. When they're looking for a new job, or when they're looking for some kind of help, or when they're looking for some new kind of opportunity. That's the only time they will pick up the phone and call someone in their network. That's the only time they'll open their laptop and send off an email to someone they've not spoken to in years. Now, the trouble with this kind of attitude is that if you get the reputation in your industry as being someone who only gets in touch when you need something, then it's not going to help you in the long run. And in fact, it will create a negative image, and that's going to be tough for you. So a professional network needs to be nurtured, ready, and waiting long before you need to tap into it for any kind of help. So I strongly urge you to start networking today, even though you don't need anyone's help or you don't need any referrals or suggestions. Just start getting in touch with people, start getting to know new people, so that one day in the distant future, when you're perhaps looking, for a new job opportunity, or you're looking for suggestions to break into a new industry, that network of yours will be ready and waiting. So avoid that common mistake most people do, which is of getting in touch only at the last minute when you're desperate for help, because that really does create a bad impression, and it leaves behind a bad taste as well. Let's talk about another common mistake, and that is that I know lots of people who, for whom building a professional network is not a priority. Okay, when they think about their priorities, networking is nowhere in that list. And that is really sad, because we need to start making networking and building a strong network a huge priority. I think personally that one of the reasons people don't make it a priority is because they think they're too busy to network. But I think if you dig deeper, the real reason is they've not really recognized the true benefits of having a powerful professional network. Because once you recognize how important it is, you will make it a priority. And like we discussed a few moments ago, I highlighted 3 or 4 benefits of having a professional network. So once you realize that it's going to play a huge role in helping you succeed professionally, then inevitably we'll all make it a priority. So making professional networking a priority is a must if you wish to grow, evolve, and succeed in your chosen industry. Let's talk about another mistake. Another mistake that I see people making is every time they think about their network, the first thought that comes to their mind is, what's in it for me? What can I get from all these people in my network? And that is a very, very unhealthy way to go about approaching your network. That is a common mistake, and that's why so many people don't become good, effective networkers. When you think about your professional network, the first thing you need to think is, how can I be of help to them? How can I be of service to these people? Because when you first think about them as opposed to what's in it for you, then you start thinking of creative ways to be of help to the other person. And once you develop the reputation of being someone, who's always able to put in a good word, who's always able to give a good suggestion, then the law of reciprocity kicks in, and people want to, and they're eager to help you in return. So next time you're thinking of tapping into your professional network, particularly if you've not been in touch with them for a while, don't think about what can they do for me, how can they help me get this job in this company, who can they introduce me into this industry. Think instead about what you can do for them. That's the best way to get started. Hi Padmini, thank you for joining in. And Madhu has a question: how to create a professional network after a long gap? Madhu, great question. I know that a lot of people who are listening in are probably in the same boat, because despite the best of intentions, life happens, interruptions happen, distractions happen, and a professional network is long forgotten. So even if you've had a long gap, it's never too late. The best way to get started is to go online and look up events or seminars or conferences that are happening in your particular industry. Like I mentioned earlier, look up meetup.com or eventbrite.com. They all have filters where you can put in your areas of interest, and a lot of them will be maybe just coffee catch-ups, or you go to a pub and buy your own lunch or buy your own dinner, and you'll meet a lot of like-minded people. The thing to remember is it is pretty terrifying when you start networking after a long gap. For goodness sake, it's terrifying even for people who are networking on a regular basis. But don't let that stop you. Don't let that hold you back. The idea is to ask a lot of interesting questions. Don't put all the pressure on yourself, Madhu, to do all the talking. You can always ask some thoughtful or insightful questions and get the other person to talk about themselves, because you know, the secret to being a good communicator is actually to be a good listener. So if you show interest in the other person, they are more than happy to talk about their lives and their careers, etc. So even if you've had a long gap, Madhu, what I would suggest is go online and look up for upcoming seminars or conferences in your areas of interest, and then just sign up. Many of them are free. Many of them are at cost, but very often it's not too expensive. Just go along and get a feel of many different kinds of events. And I know I've done a session in the past about how to network. So if you want to check that out on my YouTube channel, you will find more suggestions. But today, of course, we're specifically talking about the 3 types of people you need in your professional network. How are we tracking for time? Okay, it's almost 20 past. Great. Bhavik says, thank you for my first question answered. Second one, how to recognize our strengths and weaknesses to build confidence, to get back on track with our professional careers and people. That's a great question again, Bhavik, one that is a very wide question. I have covered it in past sessions, but to give you a brief answer to your question, to find out your strengths, I always say that you can't discover your strengths by just, you know, sitting inside your comfort zone and waiting for all the answers to come to us. The best way to discover our strengths, because many times our strengths are still untapped. Remember, many of us have not really tried many new things. So the question to ask yourself, Bhavik, is when was the last time I did something for the first time? Okay? When was the last time I did something for the first time? Because it's very easy to fall into a routine, very easy to develop habits, and over time we get stuck inside our comfort zone. To discover your strengths, you need to start doing things that are new and things that even frighten you just a little bit or make you uncomfortable. Because the only way to grow and evolve is to learn new things, and learning new things can be frightening, but that's okay. We need to embrace the fear and move on. So Bhavik, brief answer to your question is by just saying yes to new opportunities and new challenges, and exploring what's out there on offer until you discover for yourself what you're good at and what you enjoy doing. And Tejas says, do you reckon not knowing Aussie culture can create a bar? Tejas, in Australia, you need to understand how to integrate into the Australian culture, because like I always say in my coaching programs here in Australia, like in many other parts of the world, who you know is a lot more important than what you know. So you may have all the technical skills, you may bring that to the table, but if you don't understand the Australian culture, you don't understand how if you don't understand how Australian networks work, then it may be you know, a bit of an obstacle. I'm not saying that it's impossible to reach your professional goals without a professional network, but I certainly believe that understanding the culture and getting to know how people interact and socialize will definitely fast track your path to success. So nothing is impossible in life, but I'm someone who always looks for ways in which things can get a little easier. So I would encourage you to definitely get some more insights into how the Australian networking scene operates, and then you know, and the best way to do that is to go out there and observe how other people are doing it. Okay, so we've just talked about, what else? Did I cover all the mistakes? Oh yeah. Another common mistake people make when they go to work is they think that if they socialize just with their colleagues, the people, the immediate team that they work with, then they think that is enough to build a powerful network. But nothing could be further than the truth. You need to develop a wide and a diverse professional network, which means you don't just interact with you know, your peers or your immediate team members, you also interact with people on different levels of the corporate ladder. Those who are above you on the corporate ladder, those who are on par, those who are below you. Okay, you also need to interact with people not just in your company, but outside your company. You need to interact with people not just in your specific industry, but also in other industries. The best way to develop a diverse professional network is to get to know people from many, many different walks of life. Okay? Now we come to the meat of the session, and that is the 3 types of people you need to have in your professional network. So I have a little homework for all of you if you get some time, and I'm sure no one wants to do homework on a Sunday afternoon, but I'm a huge fan of homework myself, and I love doing homework. I set myself homework tasks all the time. So if you do get the time, if you do have the inclination, I want you to take maybe 15 minutes of your time, and not now, but at some other point during the week, and make a list of all the people who are in your current professional network, and then try and see if any of them fall into any of the 3 categories that I'm about to mention. Because if you want to succeed in your career, if you want to grow, evolve, and if you want to fulfill all your goals, then it is very important to have these 3 types of people in your network. I have these 3 types of people in my inner circle, and I know that a lot of people who are working towards fulfilling their dreams are very particular to have these kinds of people in their circle. So if you really think about it and work towards including these 3 types into your professional network, it's going to really, really help you in the long run, right? So what are these 3 types? I'm going to explore them one by one very quickly, okay? The first is called the connector. The connector. So who is the connector? The connector is the person who knows lots of different people from lots of different walks of life. It's not just this. It's not just that they know many people, but they're also people who are genuinely interested in connecting people to each other. They just enjoy that kind. They enjoy introducing people to each other. They love making connections. They love giving referrals, that kind of thing, okay? And these are people who are known by many, and they're liked by many in their circle. So it doesn't matter what you're looking for or who you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for a new lawyer, or maybe you're looking for an accountant, or maybe you're trying to get a foot in the door in a niche industry. Whatever it is that you're looking for, the connector knows someone or some way that'll help you, right? And try to have at least 4 or 5 connectors in your professional network. And make sure that you, whenever you need something, whenever you need some help, or you need a referral, or you need an introduction, make sure that you don't just always use that one connector, because they're really going to feel annoyed if you only always connect with them and ask them for help. So have about 4 or 5 connectors in your professional network. Like I said, connectors are people who are able to make introductions to other people. They know a lot of people in their network, and have at least 4 or 5 connectors in your professional network. The second type that you need in your network is the mentor. Now, how many of you actually have a mentor? Let's find out, because it's very, very important to have one. And I know a lot of us, we know that, but we've not actively gone about looking for a mentor. So I'm going to explain in a moment who a mentor is specifically, but I'd love to know if any of you who's watching it has a mentor, or maybe even 1 or 2 mentors in their professional scape. So a mentor is really someone who is 5 to 7 steps ahead of you in the professional journey. A mentor is someone who's currently doing the kind of work that you want to do in 5 or 10 years' time. Okay, so mentors are great because they can be amazing sounding boards. Okay, you can discuss lots and lots of things with them. You can discuss how your career is progressing. You can discover what is holding you back, you know, when you talk with them. You can find out why you're not seeing the results that you want to see. You can ask them what you need to do more of and what you need to do less of. Now, the important thing is, as soon as you've shortlisted the people that you really, really admire, you know, in your company or in your industry, the thing to watch out for is that you can't just rock up one fine day to someone you admire and just ask them out of the blue whether they'll be happy to be your mentor, because that is going to put them off, okay? Mentoring relationships have to be nurtured gradually and gently and slowly over time. You have to give it time for mutual trust to be created. And only once mutual trust and familiarity has been created can you then ask them to take on the role of a mentor. So if you currently don't have a professional mentor in your company or in your industry, it's important to look around and find out who it is that you really admire, who it is who is doing the kind of work you want to be doing in 5, 7, or 10 years' time, and then learn from them. You know, strike up a conversation. After you talk to them a couple of times, maybe ask them if they'll have a coffee with you, and then later maybe have lunch with you. And you start building that trust and you start building that relationship. And then when you feel that you've reached a stage of mutual trust and mutual comfort, then you can ask them to take on the role of your mentor moving forward. Personally, in my journey, having a couple of mentors has truly helped me. It has taught me how to dream big. It has taught me how to look at life differently. And I strongly recommend having mentors in your professional journey, because it's not just about opening doors. It's not just about opportunities. It is learning to tap into your full potential. And only a mentor really can help you do that. So, Madhu, I'm glad you enjoyed the answer. You're very welcome. And Marietta, good morning. I think it's morning in India. It's late afternoon here in Sydney, but thank you for joining in and welcome. We're talking about the 3 types of people you need in your professional network. Now, if you've only come on board in the last few minutes, this video will be available on my Facebook timeline as well as on my YouTube channel. And so far, we've covered the benefits of having a professional network, some of the common mistakes people make when they think about strategic networks, and then of course we've gone on to the 3 types of people you need in your professional network. So let me come to the third and the last type you need to have in your network, and that is what I call the practical cheerleader. Okay, now if you're lucky, you probably have quite a few regular cheerleaders in your inner circle or in your network. These are the people who clap and encourage you to dream big. They encourage you every time you step outside your comfort zone. And they're people who make you feel good about life in general and about yourself, right? These could be your parents. These could be your spouse. It could be your best friend. It could be a distant relative. But what you need, you don't just need cheerleaders, okay? You don't just need people to encourage you for the sake of encouragement. There needs to be some kind of substance in that encouragement. That's why I call them practical cheerleaders. These are the people, first of all, who believe in dreaming big, who encourage you to dream big, and importantly, and this is the important thing, who are able to give you realistic advice about when you are about to make a mistake, who are able to give you realistic advice about when you're going to do the wrong thing or when you're on the wrong track. The realistic or practical cheerleaders, they're not always obsessed with wanting to please you. You know, they're not concerned about always saying the right thing, what will make you like them. They're not scared about sacrificing their relationship with you, even if it means that they will have to give you the right advice to put you on the right track. They're not afraid of sacrificing. They don't worry that you'll feel bad or you'll be upset with them. All they're concerned with is that they should give you sound advice that will make sure you are on the right track. And I have quite a few practical cheerleaders in my network. These are the people who are unafraid to tell me, Nim, what you're doing is probably going to backfire, or Nim, you're about to make a mistake, and I suggest you backtrack and reassess your situation. These are the people who are not pulling me down. Remember, there's a difference between the naysayers and the practical cheerleaders. These are people who want me to succeed. They want me to win. but they're not going to say things just so that they're popular with me. They're going to tell me things as they are. They're going to tell me the bitter truth, and they don't worry about offending me. So it's very, very important to have a handful of practical cheerleaders, people who allow you to dream big, but who also pull you back when you're about to do something that's going to backfire in the long run. So quickly, a summary of the 3 types of people. You need a connector. So you need maybe 4 or 5 or 6 connectors in your network. You need a mentor. Ideally, you need to have 1 mentor or 2 mentors, but more the merrier. I wouldn't recommend more than 3 or 4 because you don't really need that many. Between 1 or 2 mentors is a healthy number. And then the last one is the practical cheerleader, the person who encourages you to dream big, but who will also give you realistic and sometimes bitter advice if you're about to make a mistake. So that's it from me for today, my friends. I have gone slightly over time, but I've had such a good time that I forgot to look at my watch. And hopefully you've enjoyed, and hopefully you found a few helpful tips. So what I suggest is do that little bit of homework that I asked you to do. Always good to look at your network and make a list of which categories people fall into. These are the 3 main categories that I personally believe in. There are many, many more subcategories, but we won't worry about that today. Just try and find out if you have in your professional network a connector, a mentor, and a practical cheerleader. And if you don't, then start actively building a network that includes these kinds of people. Because believe me, they really are going to have a huge influence on how fast and how much you succeed. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, I am assuming that many of your friends and relatives will also enjoy it. So please do share it with your network, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Nim Golkar. Now, if you're looking at getting any one-on-one life coaching, then of course you have the option of joining one of my coaching programs. So if you need more information on how you can be coached by me one-on-one on different topics in your personal or professional life, then drop me a line at info@nimgolkar.com. I will see you again in a fortnight with yet another exciting topic. So watch out for that, and have a fantastic week ahead, and good luck with professional networking. Please do make it a priority and put it in your calendars. Make time for industry events. Go out, meet new people, and get started. Love you all. Take care, and see you soon in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.